Hello, everybody. Welcome back to an episode of The Faithful One. It is me, Austin. I'm back. I haven't done a video in a while. Just haven't really had the time to, but today I've got a sweet video for you guys. Marco has tasked me with the whole chapter of Proverbs chapter 27. So I'm going to read it verse by verse. I've got my thick chunk of notes here, a couple pages of them. I'm not going to get through all this in one video, so it'll probably be either multiple parts. I don't know. I'm thinking 2 or 3 parts. But yeah, might as well just hop right into it, starting in verse 1 of Proverbs chapter 27, which says this: "Boast not thyself of tomorrow, for thou knowest not what the day may bring forth." Now, as humans, naturally, we expect things. Like, we expect tomorrow. We may make plans in advance. We schedule things around other things and schedule things in the days to come, almost to a point where we're overconfident in what tomorrow may bring. I wrote down James 4:14. It says that life is a vapor. It could vanish in an instant. Time is very valuable. I'm not saying don't have like a plan, don't have future plans, but don't take pride in the future. Don't think that we can control our destiny. Only God knows our destiny, and He controls it. He controls the future. Charles Spurgeon considered it a blessing to not know the future. He says this: "To know the good might lead us to presumption. To know evil might tempt us to despair. Happy for us is it that our eyes cannot penetrate the thick veil which God hangs between us and tomorrow. That we cannot see beyond the spot where we are now, and that in a certain sense we are utterly ignorant to the details of the future. We may indeed be thankful for our ignorance." He's saying that it's a good thing that we don't know what happens tomorrow, because honestly, the future's scary. It's a good thing that we cannot see past the thick veil, as he calls it, that God has set for us. Now we're going to go into verse 2. "Let another man praise thee, and not thine own mouth, a stranger, and not thine own lips." Avoiding self-promotion. Pride separates us from what God's purpose is for us. Verse 3. "A stone is heavy, and the sand weighty, but a fool's wrath is heavier than them both." Wrath is a very deadly thing. Proverbs 29 says, "An angry man commits many sin." An angry or wrathful thought process means we're not in the right headspace. James says we are to be slow to wrath. Quick little side jump. I referenced the book of James already twice. The book of James in the New Testament is considered what Proverbs is in the Old Testament. It's considered the wisdom book of the New Testament. Proverbs is the wisdom book of the Old Testament. If you have time, go read the book of James. It's 5 or 6 chapters. I think it's 5 chapters. It's one of my favorite books in the Bible. A very good book. Moving on to verse 4. "Wrath is cruel." Again, about wrath. "Wrath is cruel, and anger is outrageous, but who is able to stand before envy?" So I just made a note that wrath and anger are very deadly things, but this says, what does it say? It says, "But who is able to stand before envy?" Think of like I was saying, wrath is very dangerous, but it says that what does it say, word for word? "But who is able to stand before envy?" Envy and jealousy can firepower, if you want to use that terminology, can firepower wrath. And that's just a kind of a humbling thought to think. Because when you're jealous of something, or when you're envious of something, that can cause you to be certainly not in the right headspace, but certainly also can lead you to then be wrathful of things. It's all connected. Sin's all connected down. The root of sin a lot of the times is pride, being jealous. Flashback. Proverbs 16:18-20. It says, "Pride goeth before destruction, and a haughty spirit go before the fall." End of flashback. Of something, being angry at someone for doing something, a lot of the times the root of that is pride. Look at verse 5. "Open rebuke is better than secret love." I love this verse. There's 2 instances of love in this verse. The obvious one is secret love. Now, concealed love, it doesn't do a thing, right? But open rebuke is another form of love. It is a better form of love. It is an honest form of love. Letting your brother in Christ walk in sin is not love. Calling them out and sharpening them, as we'll see in verse 17, sharpening them in their faith, that is a better and that is a stronger form of love. So your friend might not like you for it. If my friend is sinning and doing things, it's better for me to be like, hey, brother, what exactly are you doing? All right, like there's no need for that. But if I'm concealing the love of my brother, the love for my brother, if I'm concealing that, then that literally does him no good whatsoever. Verse 6, faithful are the wounds of a friend, but the kisses of an enemy are deceitful. Now, similar to verse 5, a true friend is willing to wound you for your own personal growth. Now, a kiss in Bible times is not what, we would think of in today's time as a kiss. I mean, it's the same action. I don't want to weird you guys out by my wording here. It's the same action, obviously, of a mwah. It's nothing as we would think of it today. It was more like a handshake or like a greeting. But it was still rooted in love for a person. I wouldn't just go up and shake somebody's hand that I dislike. Like, I'm not going to go up to some guy, I'm just like, hey, how you doing? Like, I'm not going to a guy that I'm not a big fan of, and I'm not just going to go give him a formal greeting. That's why it says the kisses of an enemy are deceitful. Immediately, I think of Judas betraying Jesus. Judas betrayed Jesus with a kiss. That kiss was not rooted in love. That was a kiss rooted in betrayal, or in this first one, that was deceitful. Verse 7. Man, I'm running out of breath. I'm talking fast. Verse 7. The full soul loatheth a honeycomb, but to the hungry... let me start over. Breathe. The full soul loatheth an honeycomb, but to the hungry soul, every bitter thing is sweet. When we're satisfied, we tend to reject. That's what loatheth means. It detest or not want. It becomes easy to reject things that would otherwise be of high value to us or of great desire. But when we are truly in need of being fed, we'll eat anything in sight. We'll take in all the information. Now, don't think we are satisfied in our walk with God. Being satisfied or being content and being set, not... How am I trying to say this? Don't be too passive in your walk, right? Don't think you're satisfied, or don't settle in your walk with Christ. We need to be hungry in what he has for us, but we need to be fed enough to where we're not taking in all of the nonsense and the crap from this world. The New Testament, I believe it's the book of Matthew, it says that beware of false prophets. They come to you in wolves in sheep's clothing. When we're very hungry, we can easily be susceptible to the wolves in the sheep's clothing. Moving on to verse 8. A bird that has wandered from her nest, so is a man that wandereth from his place. Now, verse 8 here, it proposes a simple analogy with a deep personal meaning, like a bird leaving his nest and a man wandering from his place or from his home. You see, God is a time and a place for us. You see, God has a time and a place for us, right? Now, it is for us to stay upon the path or stay in the place that he has for us. You see, we need to follow God's instructions for us in our life, so we are following the roadmap that he has for us. We need to follow his instructions so we don't wander off of the path. But at the same time, if we're staying in one spot where God has us, it's easy to get comfortable and overstay at one stop. God requires us to get out of our comfort zone. The Great Commission starts with go ye therefore into all the world. It doesn't start with stay put, stay right there and go. No, we're required to be patient, but we're also required to go. We need to be ambitious of what God has for us, but don't let that ambitiousness become impatience, and don't let our patience become laziness. Moving on to verse 9. Ointment and perfume rejoice in the heart, so doth the sweetness of a man's friend by a hearty counsel. The latter command of the Great Commission is to teach every disciple or every creature. See, someone in our life will need hearty counsel, like it says here in verse 9. Hearty counsel. Someone in your life definitely needs hearty counsel, or do some self-evaluation. Here, I would personally say I need some hearty counsel, just from a older church member, a friend of mine who is more knowledgeable about the Bible than me. Just everybody can grow. Kind of the one verse. Where was it? I'm getting off track of my notes, but I don't care. The one verse, the honeycomb verse. See, we need to be, even if I think I have a decent knowledge and decent understanding of the Bible, I can still get more from it from hearty counsel from somebody that I know. Now, if you look at verse 10, it says, thine own friend and thy father's friend forsake not, neither go into thy brother's house in the day of calamity, for better is a neighbor that is near than my brother that is far off. Now, this verse isn't harping on the faraway brother, but rather it's lifting up the close friends. We have to utilize the people close to you. Like, utilize the older people in the church or the more knowledgeable friends that you have in church, not someone that's way far away. I don't have access to a missionary in Uruguay or something like that who definitely knows more about the Bible than me. I don't have access to it, but I do have access to people in the church who would be willing to give me hearty counsel. Go ahead and look at verse 11. My son, be glad and make my son be wise and make my heart glad, that I may answer him that reproacheth me. Verse 11, it says that wisdom makes our father, whether that's physically, whether it's my physical father. If I'm being smart, and like, not like smart mouth, but like if I'm being smart and I'm being wise, that's going to make my father happy. He's like, oh, I raised a good son. But also spiritually, being wise makes our heavenly Father glad. If we're walking in wisdom and utilizing the book that he has given us, if we're using that, then that also makes him glad. Now look at verse 12. A prudent man foreseeth evil and hideth himself, but the simple pass on and are punished. Now, prudent means practical, like a practical wisdom or a self-control kind of thing. So a prudent man, or a man with self-control, a man with practical wisdom, will know how to face evil or act on it. He'll know how to act on evil. In this case, it says to hide from it. I think of 2 Timothy 2:25. It says flee from youthful lust. We need to flee from lusts. That is how to take on that form of evil. But if you look later on in the verse, but the simple or the simple-minded pass on, or the naive and the unwise or the untrained, well, they will run. The naive or the unwise or untrained will run himself blindfolded directly into hell. Now, if you look at Romans 13:14, it says, do not fuel your fleshly desires. God cannot bless a man blinded by lust. If willingly giving into lust, then you will receive a temporary reward. Okay, time out. Romans 13:14 tells us not to fuel our fleshly desires. God cannot bless a man that is blinded by lust. If we willingly give into lust, then you'll receive the temporary reward that lust offers. You'll receive that temporary reward. If you look at verse 18 of this chapter, which we'll get to later, verse 18 says you get out of it what you put into it. So if you are fueling your fleshly desires, then you'll get a fleshly reward. And if you're fueling what God has for you, God's desires, because God's desires are to be your desires. So if you're fueling your spiritual desires, then you will receive what you spiritually desire. Now go ahead and look at verse 13. This says, take his garment that is surety for a stranger, and take the pledge of him for a strange woman. This is kind of another like self-control, self-wisdom kind of thing, or don't be stupid kind of thing. It says don't lend to an unreliable individual, right? Take his garment that is surety for a stranger. Surety is like his belongings or what he treasures, or don't give it to him, and act sensibly, as it says in verse 12. Just be smart, be wise, don't be dumb. that is about all that I have for today. I will get into more of it in the coming days. Hopefully you got enough out of this, because it's a lot. But this chapter, it's a really good chapter. It's a lot of like planning for the future, be wise, don't be dumb kind of thing. It's a very good chapter. Go give it a read if you want to. Haven't been in front of a camera in a while, so I'm kind of clocked out of it a little bit. But thank you, Marker, for allowing me to do this. Appreciate you. Catch you later.